Hello, and welcome to the W.A.I.T channel. What Am I Thinking? A podcast where two sisters share uplifting conversations on fun and sometimes serious topics.
Join us each week by clicking the notification bell and subscribing to our channel. If you enjoy the show, use the share link. It's one of the best ways to expand the conversation.
Welcome to the W.A.I.T channel. What am I thinking? Well, we are thinking about family karma. It has really been a packed season.
Yeah.
We are on our second wedding. Really our third, because now they have finally, Michelle. They had another mini wedding, so maybe wedding 2.5.
Right.
And so I think the big things for me is Amrit and Nicholas. They are just, a day away from their wedding,
right,
to actually happen.
Their weekend event.
Their weekend event, yes, their weekend wedding, and the parents have met, and the parent meeting itself, it seems like it went well.
Oh, but to be a fly on that wall.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. But the part of it that ended up being the kind of, where did that come from? But I kind of saw it. Nicholas has really, really been patient with this process of allowing and being okay with this big Indian wedding, and his requests have not been that huge, but if you look at 90% of this is the Indian wedding, maybe 95% of it, and 5% is, traditional and something that Nicholas wants.
It is a culture class, but as well as I, that when you bring two cultures together and you realize that they are very, very different, there has to be this acceptance, because that's what you're marrying into. He's not going to just have the Indian influence in his marriage. It's going to be for the rest of his life with Amit.
And I think he understands that. And his point was, so we have planned this wedding. It's most of what you want. But the mom, she was kind of being
passive aggressive, as they
say it. Yes, she was. And it's and he just, he's like, come on. Because it's almost as if you wanted to make them feel bad because you all didn't have that parent event, and it's like, you got almost everything else. So you didn't get an event that was just about you. And then saying if her mom had still been alive, she would have made them do it.
And as Westerners, I very much do understand Nicholas. I really do. But I have worked around individuals of the Indian culture, and I know that family and tradition, and depending on the region of India that they're from,
for sure,
that's something that is very, very a part of who they are. And knowing that in his mom, I know she wasn't being malicious at all or trying to get her way. This is that's what she had when she got married. It's probably what their siblings did. That's what she knows. And you're wanting to be celebrated as the parent because you're marrying off your children. So I very much understood it. And I was a little disappointed when Nicholas took offense and feeling that she was trying to have all the things that she wanted. I don't think she was being malicious. She was just wanting to celebrate it in the way that, culturally is something that's familiar to them.
It was not malicious, but it was a little tone deaf.
But again,
because he just met with his parents.
I know.
And if he had parents who were more accepting, then there would have been even more. And I don't know if they would have tolerated the things his parents may have traditionally wanted to do, but they didn't have to do that. So you basically you didn't get everything you wanted, but you got most of what you wanted. And if that thing mattered to you so much, then maybe you could have sacrificed something else and said, I really want this. I just think, I understood everybody's side. Did he overreact? For sure.
There were no winners in this, Tracy. There were no winners in this.
There's not. And for him, it just makes me sad because he's grateful that his parents are there.
Right.
But the way in which they are there, it's still not, and I think he's probably going to look back on it and probably wish he had asked for more. That's the part that makes me sad for Nicholas, because he doesn't feel as if he can, because he doesn't have that full family support.
Right.
So I think he would have wanted more of his traditions and things he wanted, but I felt like he felt because he didn't have that family to back it up. I mean, he doesn't have really a lot of people from his family even coming. So that's the part that makes it sad, is that he probably will have a few regrets, wishing he had, asked for a little bit more. But outside of that, I'm looking forward to seeing how things proceed. Let's talk about Monica and Rish.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And and they do a really good job at Bravo, and with some of the cast, they can keep things close to the vest and not let things slip. So to the best of my knowledge, there's not been an engagement between those two. But
right.
I wouldn't be surprised if that finale episode is him finally proposing. But what I'll say is, if she has to wait until that finale episode, he is really creating this situation where she's going to be super, super surprised, or either he is just a person that cannot see how much he's hurting this girl.
Okay, but how about this? The fact that she was not invited to go to the family wedding in Vegas.
Yes.
And believing that the other brother's girlfriend was probably there.
Yes.
Now, she didn't want her dad making that point, and especially she probably didn't want it made on camera.
Yes.
But because that speaks volumes. If you want to talk about Indian culture.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes.
Yeah, and her dad, her dad made that very point. He made the point that she was supposed to be with him.
Yeah. So, but you know what? It's on him, because if they were choosing girlfriends that could come, because it probably would not have been good for both of them to be there.
Right.
So what does that say about which relationship is at for his younger brother versus him, who has been, dating this girl who's about to be 31 and still waiting to know, And what I would rather he do, I would rather he just tell her, because when he said to camera or to Brian or to somebody, I think it might have been to camera, I'm 28.
Yeah.
That right there says it all. If you are a person of a certain age and you're a woman, you need to look at who you are choosing to partner with, because just because maturity-wise the person seems like they're in that space.
Now, I'm going to say this. So, when he was first introduced to the show, he was 26. And I remember Monica in her confessional, because they were just talking about, is he the one? And she kind of gave the story about the connection between their families. But she also did say that she was older than him, so she remarked to that. And I remember thinking at that time, that's going to be a problem, because when you look at the marriages that have occurred on this show, these guys are well into their 30s.
Yes, well.
Even the Patels, and I don't even know if they're married, but those sons, that one son that was engaged, he was older. He was, if not 30, soon to be 30. So Monica, I was concerned that she would get involved with someone. And at that time, they had just started dating, so I wasn't sure. Is something going to come from this? Well, for this season, for us to be where we are, and for her to quit her job, saying that she wants to pursue other interests, I don't think it's just to pursue other interests. I think she's letting him know, I'm ready to be a wife and a mother.
And it could have been a thing where she could have been earning more income-wise than he was, and maybe because that was Brian's thing with the girl that he was dating.
It very much was.
And so maybe she was like, well, not let that be an intimidating factor as to why he is not ready. But the biggest thing is that should have been an early conversation to talk about the age difference, what I'm expecting in life. Because for him, why wouldn't he want to date Monica? Of course he would. He's not thinking marriage. He's dating.
They're dating.
He's dating.
He's doing what a 28-year-old wants to do.
Yes. And I feel bad for him that he's getting all this pressure.
Right.
Because, and so go back to what I was saying, is that I would have rather he just told her, hey, I am still in my 20s, and I don't know when I'm going to be ready to say I do. And if you are looking for a definitive, I need to have it done by this date, then I may not be the person you need to be dating.
Yeah.
I wish he had the courage to tell her that and let the relationship go instead of dragging it out. And for her, when he missed that first deadline, he should have went and had a conversation and said, look, I understand you're only 28, but I'm 30. Yeah. I know what I want in my life, and I don't know if I can dedicate another year or two to this relationship and not know that it's going to end in marriage. So I think I'm going to have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Put the pressure. If one of them had done that, it would have made all the difference in the world.
And the funny thing about all of this, when I think back on Anisha and the dynamic between Monica and Anisha, and how I'm quite sure Monica probably saw herself being the one that would be engaged before Anisha, maybe even planning a wedding. And look at where we are today. She's the one that's married.
Yeah.
She's the one that smartly froze her eggs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she knew she was older,
Exactly. The thing about Anisha is she lives from a place of being honest with herself. Even though she may have told a few fibs to her family a little bit, she is honest with herself. She's honest with herself about her career, when her fashion line is not doing well, when she's not. She's honest with herself.
And that was one of
the... anyone else may think of her, whether they love her, like her, hate her. She knows who she is. She knows what she brings to the table. And so I'm happy for her. I did not love her on Watch What Happens Live. I thought she kind of gave some digs that she could have kept. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
I did like her disparaging the marriages and saying they wouldn't last and all that. I mean, I'm not. Even if you believe that to be true, you don't have to speak all truth. Some things you can just be silent on.
I feel that with Anisha and during filming, I think that there were some underhanded digs about
sure.
how and why she didn't do certain things, and people not understanding that
Yes.
she needed that for herself just in case
Yes.
it didn't work out.
They
And
were beyond unfair to
they
her.
really
and
were.
I guess, Lori, you just answered my question. She watched that. That's the stuff that we are privy to that she was not privy to.
Right.
Those conversations, the snideness of the Shaw with Risha,
putting her down
Risha.
about the ultimatum,
Yes.
the time frame. Yeah.
And about the way they felt about the way she handled the wedding stuff. My goodness, she was moving across country.
Right.
People, you're not going to give her. So even knowing that, they still felt some kind of way.
Yeah.
So I think that's what fueled. Now, I don't know with Amrit and Nicholas, maybe because Amrit and Vishal, they did have a few conversations. Yeah, I take that back. I do know.
But remember season 1 when they went back and forth, who's the best friend? Remember that? So there has always been that little bit of
Yeah, right.
Now,
right.
because if you can't tell, we really are into this family karma. Before we end this, because we can go on and on, we've got to talk about Brian's mom and Vishal's mom. Because when not only the children are getting into it, and now the moms are getting into it, that's something.
Yeah, we can talk about that, but we're going to have to do another one in a few weeks because we didn't get to Bali and her moving. We didn't get to talk about that at all, which I do want to talk about. And it was one other thing. But let's go ahead and talk about the mom. So who do you think, is there anybody right or wrong in this? I think I already know because I think we had a side conversation.
I mean, I really feel that Vishal's mom, yes, we did have a side conversation. She's not a girl's girl. She is a woman. I think she's a professional. She runs her business. I think that when they do meet at each other's house, she's doing it after she gets off of work. I think it's to be polite. She's a part of the community. That is
and
what
she's socially awkward.
She is very much so. She is
socially in the same way that Risha's mom is socially verbose.
Oh my Lord!
She is the total at the opposite extreme of that, which is why they had such an issue in the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
And will continue to have an issue unless they figure that out.
Yeah.
Because she's still talking behind her back.
She is, and I know Vishal, and then that I thought was not great. Alopa, I was like, this is now your family,
right?
So even if you think that, you should, but she does. Lopa has her own rules,
right?
So, and we didn't even get to talk about the daughter, Risha's sister. We got to do another one.
Yeah,
we didn't even get to talk about that. But okay, so the mom dynamics. What else about? What about Brian's mom?
Okay, so we know she is a watered down version of Lopa, but she is very much extroverted with her personality.
Yes,
and I think that the offense that she feels was placed upon her by not being acknowledged at this wedding, what she fails to realize is that she stuck her nose where it did not belong. Now, maybe Vishal's mother could have handled that better and had a side conversation with her just to let her know how she felt instead of being.
That's not her.
You're right.
Preface what you just said. That's not who she is.
That's not who she is.
Girl.
Right.
She doesn't play nice. She doesn't know how to do that.
No.
Yeah. She's just strictly black and white.
And based on Brian's appearance on Watch What Happens Live, which has been a few Sundays ago when he was on, it doesn't seem like there, right, with his mom, it doesn't seem like there has been a resolution. Yeah.
No. And that's sad, but it seems like I'm hoping Brian and Vishal are still able to be friends regardless. But I think Brian's mom made a bigger deal out of it than she should have, because, I can't say that was a huge wedding.
Yeah.
Okay. And to say that if she had went up to his mom, made eye contact with her and said something to her, or made eye contact looking straight on with her, and she ignored her, that's one thing. This is a side, when the clip that they showed, it's like you are assuming she saw you and made eye contact with
right.
you. You're assuming.
But you made a very valid point, Tracy. If being acknowledged was that important to her,
right,
then the onus is on her to go to her. Because, I mean, quite frankly,
wouldn't you be going to her and say, congratulations?
Absolutely. Right.
Because she could have been like, Chishna didn't even come and speak to me. I invited her to the wedding. She didn't even speak to me.
Right.
She could have done the same thing, because she's the one that laid everything out, for you to enjoy, So you should have been coming to her. So nobody is right. Once again, no winners in the situation. But if you're not watching Family Karma, you need to start watching. It is only on season 4, so you don't have to do a whole lot of binge watching to catch up. But it's one of those shows where you could drop in at any point and still enjoy it. They're really, really good people, very lively, just a great show. And it shows you the importance of family. The family in Family Karma, they truly are a big community family, and it's really nice to see and to celebrate with them. So go ahead and close us out, Lori.
Well, thank you guys for listening, and don't forget to click the like, comment, and the bell to be notified when we upload to our channel. We enjoy hearing whatever you have to say, reading your comments, and we hope you tune in next week. Bye-bye.